So guys, the main reason behind today's video is I am just about to be heading in for my normal scheduled back session throughout the week. Nothing's going to change on that kind of sense, apart from the fact that we are going to be starting off today with RDLs. Now, the reasoning behind this is, like I said in the last video, there's still a little bit of travelling going on, right? So what that really means is whenever I usually deadlift on the weekend, that's kind of not been happening on the weekend. So basically what's happened is my split's kind of not had to be rearranged, but just kind of been put back a couple of days. That's literally it. But what that then means is I'm deadlifting at the start of the week, so then by the time it gets to the end of the week, I'm kind of more so on back again, but then it's a little bit too close to obviously deadlifts again. But we are heading back to Scotland this weekend once again for something quite exciting, what you could say, but I don't really want to mention it in this video, so I'll kind of just let that happen, and whenever it kind of gets produced and everything like that happens, it'll probably come out. But yeah, we are going to be in for RDLs today. Now, I've not done RDLs in forever. Like, the last time I done RDLs was probably last year on prep, if I implemented them in maybe 1 or 2 sessions max. But as you guys will know, I'm a big believer in obviously conventional pulls off the floor. It just so happens that the recovery capabilities are just not there today. They haven't been there this week in terms of I'm not ready to deadlift again. As much as I would love to go in today and fucking grip the bar as hard as I can, rip it off the floor as hard as I can, it is just not there today. And of course, with us heading back to Scotland, there is going to be no use of a Texas deadlift bar, unless I take my own Texas deadlift bar with me, which is highly unlikely. But that's the main reasoning behind going in today and doing RDLs. Of course, it is still back day, but the main kind of reason is I obviously wanted to bring this to YouTube and kind of also bring you guys a full back session, take you guys through it, take you guys through any tips or cues or anything like that that I like to incorporate into my back sessions. The last in-depth shoulder session did actually go pretty well. Now, I know the last video that has just went up was a deadlift video and again a full back session, but that video was from quite a few weeks ago, and it just so happens that I am not the best with technology, therefore it did not get uploaded anytime sooner. But I'm trying to just kind of stay consistent anyway. That's really the biggest thing with all of these videos. I'm trying just to kind of stay consistent, stay with the camera, keep the camera out, film as much as I can. But yes, supplements have went in, of course. Defibs went in, Ride-On has went in, and I have Carb Up and No Code in my bag, all ready for back. So that's going to be it, guys. I do hope you enjoy this video like usual, like I say in every single video. Does that actually get endless? Does like me saying I do hope you guys enjoy this video? If you do enjoy the video, please don't forget to drop the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Does that get endless? Drop a comment down below and tell me if that gets endless, and see if it does get endless. I'm probably still going to say it. So yeah, don't forget to drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's just get on with back. And we eventually reached the barbell. Now, this was quite a weird one, as again, going back to just complaining about the gym being so cold, I was definitely not warmed up enough going into these, and I kind of thought I was, and I thought everything was feeling all right. And it wasn't really until I kind of got to my top end set. Obviously, bearing in mind I've not done RDLs in so long. What feels like ages and ages and ages. So again, I wasn't really prepared in terms of going in very fresh and knowing how I was going to warm up efficiently and make sure that I'd warmed up enough. Obviously with things like deadlifts, I know that I do these every single week and I know what to warm up on. Same with things like squats and stuff, but of course, this was the first time on RDLs in quite a while, so I kind of thought I was warmed up enough. Clearly wasn't. Again, this just leads down to my top end set, which is right here. I believe this is 260 kilo. This was so I was going for this for my top end set. Felt great, but my left side, it felt sore for some reason, and I wasn't getting much from it. The bar just felt very lopsided, and it kind of just it led back from being my left lat was just very tight, and again, it would have just risked injury if I stuck with that. And knowing me, I would have probably stuck with it, but it just wasn't worth it at the end of the day. Now, I'll know for the future, and especially going into future back sessions when the gym's very cold, I need to make sure I am very, very, very warm. So I've even contemplated wearing extra clothes, making sure that I'm warming up. Not initially pre-exhausting, but I will be doing some more activation exercises in terms of making sure that I get my lats fired up and pumped just before I go into any form of very hard lower back loading, especially down the lines of RDLs or stiff leg deads or something like that. That is going to put a lot of pressure on. But second exercise here, we did move on to obviously the wide grip lat pull down. This is just a staple within every single back session. Second to that, or third exercise in the session, was the unilateral chest supported seated row. Now, the reasoning behind this, you'll find that the rest of the session kind of consisted of unilateral exercises. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what that means, it just basically means single arm exercises, focusing on one side at a time. The reasoning behind this was just down to the fact of how my RDLs went. Because of my left lat, I didn't want to kind of just keep everything as dual handles on everything, because then I would feel as if my right side would maybe take over and I wouldn't notice it as much. So I wanted to kind of make sure that my left side was getting stimulated as much as I could, just to make sure that obviously it was warm throughout the session and making sure that there was no problems with it. And obviously after moving from there, I moved to a dumbbell upper back row. Now, a lot of people do ask why I don't do your normal kind of standard dumbbell row. I do perform these, but I do prefer to move towards the upper back more than anything else, as I feel that that's quite a lagging area for me, especially within the kind of detail side of things. So moving towards this, I obviously keep the upper back dominant and the upper back the priority. And then obviously from there, we did move to a D-handle pull down, so obviously a high to low pull down. I would only perform this sort of movement at the end of the session. I wouldn't really put this in near the start, again, unless it was more so down to a kind of activation exercise, and I wouldn't really take it as far as, but where if I put it in at the end of the session, I will take it all out. So I'll perform 2 sets, I'll take them as heavy as I can. Again, because it's on a cable stack, you can't really take it too heavy in case the D handles do snap. Obviously, that's probably one of the worst things about it, but at the same time, took it as far as I could. I performed 2 sets of these, so as you'll see here, obviously moving to the near end of the set, you have to really try and connect with your lats as much as possible to make sure that you are obviously taking the set as far as you can. And again, just keeping the cue off, making sure that you're driving your elbows down towards your hips over anything else, so even, or towards your arse cheeks, you could even say that, just to make sure that you connect very well with your lats, as it is a very isolated exercise, so you can't really force momentum into it, as you will just lose the connection with your lats, and obviously that isn't the goal. And then from there, we moved on to one of my favourites for back, especially near the end of the session again, which probably is the only exercise that I would perform. I like to perform it with an EZ bar or a straight bar. I moved away from using a rope to do a pullover or a pull down with, just simply down to the fact that I did feel as if one side kind of started taking over a little bit more than the other, and the rope obviously started moving in between the kind of pulley machine at the top, or the clip at the top, and it just wasn't ideal. So I moved away from that, and this then allows me to focus and keep the priority of keeping my arms as straight as I can with just the slightest bend ever. Whereas if you use a rope, you're more prone to bending your elbows and flexing your elbows a lot more, which then again, it does stay in a pull down form, but you can lose connection very easily, and again, that's not the goal. And last but not least, for back, we stayed on that unilateral focus again just for the last and final exercise. This is actually a low row machine, but what I found is if I do kind of put my knee up on the seat, I can get a lot more range of motion from the stretch to the connection at the very top, or the contraction at the very top, and it just makes the move a whole lot nicer over anything else. So we just kind of performed 2 sets on here before moving on to arms to finish, but that was really all that we kind of covered within the back session. I did actually do a close grip pull down, which I never obviously filmed because the gym did start to get a little bit busy. Even though it doesn't look busy here, it did get quite busy and it would be pretty endless. But that's going to be it. I will just catch up with you guys in the next clip. It is 23:56, 5 to midnight, and the last and final bedtime shake's going in. 36 grams of AGF. Now, I know that this isn't going to be the most pleasantest thing in the world for my neighbours, but I do honestly understand how much they appreciate, and both understand how important that this is to me to get this in at this time of night. They understand the importance of one day me reaching my goal of looking like a fridge. Perfection. That pre-bed shake. So that's going to conclude this video, guys. I do hope you have enjoyed this one. If you have enjoyed it, of course, then please do not forget to drop the video a like. I will be trying my hardest to keep up all this content. I know that obviously there's been quite a few videos over the course of the last few days, but I will do my absolute best, because my goal, especially going into 2022, is just to absolutely nail YouTube to the absolute most I can. I've obviously invested in a camera, I've invested in new lenses, I've invested in a new mic, I'm literally trying my hardest to put absolutely everything into this. And I know that it is going to come down to consistency, and that is what I am willing to bring. So, of course, guys, don't forget to hit that big fat subscribe button, subscribe to the channel if you're new about here, hit that post notifications button to make sure that you always get a notification whenever I upload a video. I will try my best to bring some quality, good, decent, half decent content for you guys. That is going to wrap this video up, guys, so I will just see you all in the next video.